Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Freddy's just around the corner.
Hey YouTubers, Hankster here, and welcome to another edition of our Nightmare on Elm Street review series. And we're going, of course, into the third edition. Of course, it's Part 3, Dream Warriors, featuring Robert Englund, and also the return of Heather Langenkamp and John Saxon from the first movie, and also bringing in Patricia Arquette, Lawrence Fishburne, Priscilla Porter, and Craig Wasson. Now, of course, storyline, time-wise, this movie, of course, came out about 2 years after the second one, in 1987, even though storyline-wise, it was only about a year after the events of the second movie, making it about 6 years after what happened in the first movie. Kind of weird, but we'll figure that out later. Well, since Freddy's run-in with his attempts to try to possess a young man, he, of course, goes all apeshit within the dream world and taking on more and more victims. Of course, not totally successful. Some do survive, but they wind up being placed in a mental institution, with the doctors believing that they are basically suicidal teenagers, and that their dreams that they seem to be sharing is nothing but some sort of result or symptom of their true problems. One of the doctors, of course, is played by Craig Wasson, who, of course, his name's Neil, and he, of course, is more understanding than most of the other doctors. Lawrence Fishburne, of course, in the movie, he, of course, young Lawrence Fishburne, just before he got his role on Pee-wee's Playhouse, by the way, and, of course, many years before he got his role on CSI, he, of course, played an orderly in this movie, who, of course, was also kind of more on the side of the patients. Patricia Arquette, of course, plays a young lady named Christian, who, of course, is the latest addition to the growing number of surviving teens from Freddy's attacks. Of course, it's kind of focused on her, but of course, then when Nancy returns, she, of course, leans on Nancy, being that Nancy has also encountered Freddy in the same manner. Of course, things start to piece together when Nancy is somehow pulled into Kristen's dream. Helps her take on Freddy Krueger. They of course find out that not just Kristen, but all the Elm Street surviving kids have some sort of dream power about them that they can use it as a weapon against Freddy. Neil kind of slowly warms up to the idea, but he, of course, is having his own realizations about what's going on as well, as he encounters a mysterious nun known as Sister Mary Ellen, sort of played by an old woman. I think she also is the same woman who played the owner of the store that Drew Carey worked in on the original Drew Carey series back in the late 90s, early 2000. Same actress, I believe. Basically, it seems like he's the only one that can see her, even though it doesn't really be apparent at first. Well, they finally get the group together after, of course, 2 supposed suicides, which, of course, is Freddy attacks, and they basically convince them to all get put under hypnosis and go to sleep together. Not that way, but and discovered that they do have these dream powers, and that Neo, of course, realizes that Freddy Krueger is real and something has to be done to stop him. In his later encounters with Sister Mary Ellen, she, of course, tells him that the best way to take care of that is that Freddy must be laid to rest in consecrated ground. She also tells him of Freddy Krueger's true origins, even before he was child killer and, of course, set on fire by the revenge of the parents, that he was basically the result of multiple rape on his mother by the insane members of an insane asylum. She basically given him the nickname the bastard son of 100 maniacs. Sorry. Now, of course, when he tells Nancy this, they, of course, have to turn to the only person who truly knows where Freddy is buried. That, of course, is Nancy's father, played by John Saxon. Of course, also makes a return from the original movie. Now, of course, meanwhile, one of the kids named Joey, who, of course, in the waking world can't speak, has been captured by Freddy and held sort of a hostage. And it's up to the rest of the gang to try to save him. Now, there's much interesting form of coaxing. Neil takes Nancy's father to where he buried Freddy, which of course is an abandoned junkyard, and basically tries to do that very thing. And of course, resulting in being killed by Freddy through his skeletal remains. Well, Nancy's father gets killed. Somehow the gang gets separated, and Freddy, of course, tries to get them off one by one. They succeeded by getting two of them. One by a former drug addict, and the other one a sort of a Harry Potter wannabe. Remember, this is back in the late '80s, and this is a guy. Okay, if you watch this movie and you know who Harry Potter is, you say this guy's Harry Potter, even though he's sort of more of a Dungeons and Dragons fan. We of course also have to try to save Joey, and of course the only remaining people that can save him is Kristen, Nancy, and a big guy named Kincaid, who has some sort of form of super strength in the dream world. It seemed that they of course free Joey and try to stop him. Of course, he realizes his dream powers, of course, ironically enough, is his voice. As I said, Nancy's father does get killed by Freddy in the real world, and Freddy uses his image to, of course, kill off Nancy. But all to no avail, as Neo, of course, gives him the holy right of burial, as it supposedly stops Freddy in his tracks, basically banishing to some other netherworld. I don't know what. But of course, if you've been seeing the movie, somehow Freddy comes back, and he will come back again in the 4th edition of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, which of course will be our next review. Now, of course, this particular movie was the first major release of New Line Cinema, in the sense that it got a lot of big hype. MTV was basically on board to promote this movie. It was basically had, of course, way better special effects than the original two movies, and of course, Freddy Krueger's makeup improved. He was basically the makeup guy for this was known as Kevin Yeager, and he, of course, was the guy behind the creation of the Crypt Keeper puppet in the original Crypt Keeper, and which was Tales from the Crypt series on HBO. Of course, Kevin Yeager is also known for his makeup on Weird Al Yankovic in the Fab video in 1988. So, there you go, guy with Bill kind of career. So basically, he stayed on for about 2 movies doing Freddy Krueger makeup for this and the following movie, Dream Master. Now, also, a lot of people don't make note of this, but I will. This was basically the start of a 3-movie arc, sort of a trilogy that kind of was connected to each other. This was Dream Warriors, then followed by Dream Master, and then finally the 5th movie, Dream Child, which was sort of an ongoing storyline. Even though they, of course, changed characters, they were still connected by the events going on. It wasn't like, they would just go on to a different story. It was basically all connected. From there, kind of like what they did with Star Trek's 2, 3, and 4. kind of will go one after the other. They're basically connected. They didn't have those, you know, they weren't separate plots. They were kind of interconnected one way or another. But I don't know. This was basically, of course, this is the one that made Freddy have the stable of horror movie figures, not just slasher, but of course monster movies and such, and all. But it was a pretty good movie, and just basically the best was yet to come. And what I said in the remaining arc of Nightmare on Elm Street was to follow this one. And of course, we're halfway through the original Nightmare on Elm Street storyline as well. But there's more to come, and of course we're going to have some more fun with music videos. Well, of course, if you saw the previous video, that was from a rock group known as Dokken. They did the very first Nightmare on Elm Street music video, Dream Warriors, was of course named after the movie, and that was sort of a big hit for 1987. But things get kind of wackier when it comes to Dream Master, and of course D. Hanks has got something online to do some more commentary on coming soon. And of course I'll be back to do my review of Nightmare 4, The Dream Master. So stay tuned here for more reviews and whatnot here on the Multiverse. See ya.